Thank you very much, Rohan. So I suffer from this chronic problem of refusing to say no. And so they asked, Paul and Rohan asked me to do this several months ago, and I said yes and stuck it in my file. And somebody else called me and said, would I do something tomorrow? And I said yes and stuck it in my file. And only about a week ago, when Paul and I and Rohan were talking, I realized that I was doing two things rather than just one, but it's somewhat the same topic. And because this is such a great meeting and there are all these things going on at the same time, those of you who had an interest in the session I'm moderating tomorrow kind of on this topic, you can skip it because I'm going to pull all that together and talk about it in one topic today. So what I'd like to do, and I'm not sure this is exactly the audience to talk about the components of a successful AHPB program, because maybe I should be talking to surgical chairs or division chiefs, but I'm going to sort of share with you a little bit of my experience over, God, I hate to think, almost 30 years now of being an academic surgeon at 3 different institutions and what I've learned, and perhaps that will help you, particularly the junior people, realize what your chiefs, your division chiefs, your chairs are thinking about as they talk to you or they try to recruit you as fellows into building a program. My disclosures, I really don't, again, have any financial disclosures, but I am not fellowship trained. I did the Hopkins Super Chief position after a couple years after Mike did. But I've been at 3 different institutions. All 3 have had very interesting components of my education, and it is still continuing to grow. So if you think that when you finish your fellowship you're done learning, welcome to my world. I learn something every day. When I started, when I was a senior resident at Hopkins, was when John Cameron became the chairman. Hopkins was doing, Mike, what do you think, about 20 Whipples a year about that time? By the time I left in 2003, they were doing 300 Whipples a year. When I was a resident, John was the only one doing Whipples. By the time I left, there was 7 or 8 faculty that had been brought in. So I watched that program grow several decades ago. In 2003, I became the chief at Indiana University, had an opportunity to go to a great institution, and I'll tell you a little bit more about some of the strengths of that institution, but I had an opportunity to build a program somewhat in the model that John had established. And then about 11 months ago, I moved to the MGH, which had a very established program, and